Nick Jones here, the visually impaired personal trainer, bringing you the Monday Bootcamp HIIT workout. We're going to start with a warm-up. Stand up nice and tall, and we're going to start by swinging the arms across the chest. Let's get everything loose before we get going. So just swinging those arms side to side, horizontally across the body. Let's do some active stretches, then slowly lift the heart rate. Now swinging those arms forwards and backwards, kind of exaggerated marching arms. Get the chest, shoulders and back moving. Next up, some torso twists, so feet stay still, then just twist your chest to face one way, then twist to face the chest the other way. It's just warming up the back, warming up the core. Let's get everything moving. Next up, we're going to do some hip circles with a squat. So you do a right leg hip circle, hit a squat, left leg hip circle, hit a squat. Coming up in a bit. Here we go. So right leg up, out, down, hit a squat. Left leg up, out, down, hit a squat. Make sure your squat technique is good right from the off. Okay, so when I squat, my feet are just slightly wider than hip width apart. Little turn out of the toes, and I push my knees out wide as I squat down. As I've got kind of quite long legs for my height, this helps keep your chest up taller, keeps your back straighter as you squat down. If you're shorter, you can get away with not having to turn your toes out and push your knees out wide. But if you feel it in your back when you squat, I suggest this technique. Little turn out of the toes, push the feet out wide, keep the chest up tall, stick the bum out. That helps keep your upper body upright. You don't want the angle of your back changing forwards and backwards. You don't want to be pitching forwards and backwards when you squat. Obviously, then depth is a good thing to track. As it's just a warm-up, we don't have to be pushing it super deep just yet. But when it comes to the workout, try and at least go to kind of hips parallel to the knees. And then if you're feeling it in your back, might be worth looking at the technique. Next up, walk out. So start on your feet, then hands down on the floor, walk your hands out to the top of press up position. Don't do the press up, walk your hands back in, stand up tall, hands up towards the ceiling. And just go in and out. We're going to do a good load of time on this one as well, just to get that upper body warm, get it moving, get some pressure going through the upper body to start warming up. So today's workout is a bootcamp HIIT style workout, which means we're doing a little bit of everything. So we're going to do 4 moves on the abs, 4 moves on the lower body, 4 moves on the upper body. And we're going to do that 3 times through. Big calorie burn. I keep the pace of the session. Right, next up, just some star jumps to finish the warm up. But I keep the pace of the session quite hard, quite tough, and I almost want it to be a bit too tough. So there's always room to improve. If you're doing a workout and you find you can do it comfortably, chances are it's not doing you a huge amount of good. So I like to keep that hard element in there. Just keep up as long as you can. If you need more rest and take a drink, have a breather, that's absolutely fine. You do that and then join back in when you feel you can. Or feel free to just do 2 rounds. If not, join me for 3. We're going to start on our back for some abs now. Opposite ankle to opposite knee, opposite elbow to opposite knee, but lift the legs as you crunch across the angle. So we crunch up, opposite elbow to opposite knee, but lift the legs as you crunch across the angle. This again is just kind of a nice move just to get you warm, get you going. And then of course this move is the start of each round, so it gives you a chance just to kind of get the heart rate down a little bit. Then over each round, we're going to get that heart rate as high as we can, burn as many calories after the weekend. That's why I chose to put the Bootcamp HIIT style workout on the Monday. Apart from that, listen to the timer, 1 minute on, 15 off, keep up with it as long as you can. So when you're doing this opposite elbow to opposite knee, up, pause, squeeze, hold, contract the abs, then slowly back down. Try and get a really good connection to the abs nice and early. So follow my tempo if you want to.
Rest.
Right, switch the sides. So one leg on the floor, then opposite ankle to opposite knee. And now crunch across the other angle. And again, your chin should stay nice and far away from your chest. You should not be feeling this in the neck. If you're feeling it in the neck, it means you're doing the technique incorrectly. You should be able to kind of get a grapefruit between your chin and your chest that entire time. The angle of that should not change at all. You need to pick a point on the ceiling above you. Just keep staring at it, keep your chin away from the chest, and use your abs to get your rib cage on and off the floor. Follow my tempo if you want to. Up, big pause, big squeeze, hold. Almost go pause, squeeze, hold in your head before going back down. Back up, pause, squeeze, hold, slowly back down. In the first few rounds, I'll be doing a bit of talking to help get you set up, but then after that, I'll leave it up to you. Now just follow the timer and let's slowly start picking up the tempo. Next two moves are just going to elevate the heart rate a little bit more in preparation for this big calorie burn. If you want to work the abs even harder, ignore the rest when it's on the ab rounds. The next one is going to be full sit-up with a twist. Option if you don't like the full sit-up is going to be ab bicycle. So I'm now demonstrating the sit-up with a twist ahead of the timer. When the timer says start, I'll show you the ab bicycles as your option. The key to the sit-up is hitting the floor nice and gently. Right, here we go. There's your ab bicycle as your option if you don't know what an ab bicycle is. If not, stick with the full sit-up with a twist. Alternating twist, so you twist one side, all the way back down, then twist to the other side when you fully sit up. Again, the option is the ab bicycles. Again, a slightly higher energy ab move to start lifting this heart rate now as we go into the workout. It doesn't matter that we're pre-exhausting the abs because we haven't got any 1 rep max weights in there. If we were doing 1 rep max squats, I wouldn't suggest pre-exhausting the core. However, as it's a HIIT style workout, it doesn't really matter. We're doing reps and the focus is getting the heart rate up, big calorie burn, hitting lots of different muscle groups. Apart from that, let's just keep going, hit those sit-ups. And just remember, if you can't do sit-ups, hit the ab bicycles instead. Rest there. Next up is going to be a plank, but with the option of keeping it moving. If this is too difficult, which I'm demonstrating now, just do normal plank for the minute. However, the plank I want you doing is where you go up and down from forearms to hands. If not, just hit this plank. Let's go, go, go. Or you can do the plank from knees if you need to make it easier, which I'm demonstrating now. Apart from that, if not, go for this harder one. At the halfway mark, switch the arm that you're leading with as you're going from elbow, forearms to hands. At the halfway mark, switch the leading hand, or you can alternate arm each time. Up to you. But for the time being, this is also going to be further warming up the upper body, ready to hit our other muscle groups. Okay, rest there. Next up is our leg round. We're going to be starting with some kettlebell goblet squats. So you hold the kettlebell at throat height and you hit some normal squats. Remember the tips about the technique with your squatting. Chest up tall, stick your bum out. Let's go, go, go. And then feet just slightly wider than hip width apart. Little turn out of the toes. Push your knees out wide if you are taller. This helps keep your torso nice and upright. So if you notice, my back is nice and upright, even though I'm hitting good depth. The better the depth, the more effective this exercise is. Also, the faster the tempo, the more effective this exercise is. As long as you're under control, up the pace if you want to make it tougher. The next move is a variation on the squat, but a bit more cardio focused. But remember, when you land in the squat position, still remember the good squat technique pointers. I'll turn to face the camera so you can see what I mean about the toes and pushing the knees out wide. So next up, squat jacks. So you squat like you normally would, But then as you squat, you jump your feet together, then jump your feet back out into the next squat. Here we go. So that's it, squat with your feet wide, jump your feet in, and then as you jump your feet out wide, land into the next squat. If you're struggling with that and you need to make it a bit easier, you can sort of break it down into 2 movements. Hit the squat, come all the way up, then do a little jack with your feet into the next squat. If not, do it in one smooth motion like I am and see it through for the time. Still try and hit good depth with the squat.
Halfway there.
As long as your technique is good and you're not feeling it in the back. Key is with the squat, so you see if I had a bigger logo on my t-shirt, you'd be able to read it the entire time. That's when you know you're not dipping forward with your back and activating your back. We want to keep this all in the legs. I'd rather you take pauses because it's hard on your legs rather than just carrying on but feeling it in your back. Big calorie burn on, let's go. Next up, we're going to do the squat thrust. Show me your hands. So you're going to start in the top of press up position, jump your feet in towards your hands, lift your hands off the floor, then jump your feet back out into press up position. Let's go. There we go. If that doesn't make sense, watch me. That's it. The important thing here is a big jump forwards and backwards so you can get the weight off your hands and stay in that loaded squat position. It's really hard on the legs, but also gets that heart rate up. The key thing is when you jump back to press up position is don't let your bum sag below your shoulders, okay? Otherwise you may feel it in your lower back. Keep that core engaged, and if you notice my hips aren't staying in a nice straight line with my shoulders. My back isn't arching at the bottom and sagging. Apart from that, just hit this one as good as you can. Show me your hands as many times as possible in the time. Get that heart rate up, get burning those calories. Next up, let's finish it off with a good old-fashioned wall sit. Okay, option add a weight. I'm going to add a weight to mine. So wall sit down, you want 90-degree angle at the legs, you want your ankles directly underneath your knees. You don't want your ankles behind your knees or out in front. Okay, so a nice 90-degree angle, let's go. Weight on your lap if you want to make it a bit tougher, or a weight in each hand, however you choose to do it. And just hold on tight, good as you can. If you need pause in the time, come on out of it, go back in when you feel you can, particularly when we get into the later rounds. But try and hang in there, survive as long as you can. Remember, it's only as tough as you make it.
Seconds.
Rest there, well done, good job. So next up, we are heading over to upper body. We're going to start with some press-ups. I'm still nursing a shoulder injury, so I'm going to be doing the press-ups from the knees. This is the easier option if you do want to take it. If not, hit your press-ups from toes. I'm a bit late starting this one, but jump in when you can. Let's go. If you are doing press-ups from the knees, look how I'm doing them. I make sure I walk my hands out a good long way, and then still try and keep my head out in front of the hands. So I'm rolling forward on the knees. I'm almost more on the top of my thighs than I am on my knees. So you almost want feet in the air and just on the top of your knee, sort of more on your thigh. If not, hit your press-ups from the toes for the harder option.
Halfway there.
Just good old-fashioned bog standard press-ups. If anyone is feeling any pinching in their shoulder, drop to my option. Keep the tempo good, keep the depth good. So I'm just sort of having my chest gently touching the floor each time, not fully hitting the floor, but gently scraping it, keeping the muscles engaged.
Rest.
Next up, let's balance the body with a move for all of the muscles in the back of your body. Grab your towel, arms and legs straight out in front and behind you, lying on your front. Lift your chest and legs in the air and the towel and your arms into the air. Then you're pulling the towel down towards your chin. Pause, squeeze your lats on the side of your back, and then slowly extend the arms back out. You're trying to stay in the air for the whole minute. If you need pauses, that's fine, do what you can. If you don't have a towel either, this also, you know, still works. Just simulate the move without the towel. But the reason why we use the towel is so we can pull apart on the towel slightly and get a better activation in the lats on the side of your back, the big muscles under the armpit. So we're working all of the muscles on the back of the body. The hamstrings, the glutes, the lower back, the mid back, the upper back, the rear of the shoulders. And then with that pull apart on the towel and squeezing your lats, when that towel's near your chin, we also activate those lats as well. All of my workouts, I like to make sure there's balance. Anything we do on the front, we're doing just as much on the back, if not more on the back, because it's super important. The back is where all your supporting muscles live. And if they're strong, everything else will be strong. And you'll stay injury-free. Rest there. Next up, what we're going to be doing is our good old-fashioned mountain climber. Top of the press-up position, and then just do a high knee run. You can do this as fast or as slow as you want, depending on your fitness level. But if you're fit and you want the most out of it, really run the legs like me. And just hopping, skipping just straight one foot into the next one. Nice high knees. Get the knees as high as you can towards the chest to make it more effective. Get the heart rate up. And make that calorie burn the most efficient possible in the time. That's what today is all about, calorie burning after the weekend. That's why I put the hardest workout on Monday. Little bit of everything, abs, upper, lower, everything.
Halfway there.
But we're not staying on one muscle group because the purpose is calorie burning, not muscle fatigue. That comes a bit later in the week if you want to. Apart from that, just run, quick as you can in the time. Here we go. That's it, fast as you can, fast as you can, fast as you can.
10 seconds.
Get that heart rate up high as you can.
Rest.
Right, rest there. Next up, what we've got is our Burpee Skydiver. So what you're going to do, burpee down all the way down onto your front, lift your arms and legs into the air, back up onto your feet, burpee back onto your feet, jump up in the air. Super simple, super tough, super effective. That's it, there we go, and I'm demonstrating that option. If anyone feels this in their back, don't go all the way down onto the floor. So you don't go any lower than the top of the press-up position, okay? Also in that position, if you're doing that nicer option on the back, don't let the hips drop below the shoulders. Keep them in a nice, strong, straight line. If not, if you're good though, do what I'm doing, all the way down onto the front. Take your hands and legs into the air. Just makes that burpee that little bit harder, as you've got to get all the way up off the floor. So yeah, including this as the final move of each round, because it's kind of working everything we've worked so far, and it's just one big last opportunity to burn as many calories as possible. If you really struggle with burpees, you can kind of step it in and out if you want to, instead of jumping in and out like I am. But if not, here we go, big push to the end, let's go. Next up, round 2. Rest there. So right, getting ready for round 2. Back to the abs, opposite ankle to opposite knee, opposite elbow to opposite knee, crunch across the angle, lift the legs as you crunch across the angle. And there you go, follow me if you don't know what I mean by that. So one foot is on the floor, then you cross one leg over the other leg, opposite ankle to opposite knee. And so for example on this, I'm going right elbow to left knee. The left knee is the leg that's crossed for me, and I'm crunching across the diagonal, lift the legs, big pause, big squeeze, big hold. I won't do quite as much explaining this round, now it's just up to you. I've told you all the pointers, now it's just up to you to burn as many calories as you can. This one's a couple of nicer moves just to kind of get the heart rate back down in between rounds, but still try and get a nice connection to those abs. Just make sure you're lifting your legs as you crunch across the angle.
10 seconds. Rest.
Okay, switch the sides. Opposite ankle to opposite knee, opposite elbow to opposite knee. I'm starting ahead of the timer, so that's the move if you're not quite sure about it. But at the top of the move, think pause, squeeze, hold, slowly back down. Then go back up, pause, squeeze, hold, slowly back down. Everything up, everything down. Everything up, everything down. Then we're going to go back to the slightly higher tempo ab moves and slowly start building the heart rate up again. Even though it probably hasn't come down that much after that last set.
Halfway there.
But today is about burning as many calories as possible. Getting as fit as possible and as strong as possible.
Seconds. Rest.
Okay, next up we're doing the full sit-up with a twist at the top, which I'm demonstrating at the moment, alternating twists. Then, but if you don't like the sit-up for any reason, if it hurts your back or something, you can do the ab bicycles instead, which I'm about to demonstrate now. That is your ab bicycle. If not, hit full sit-up with a twist at the top. Okay, so all the way up to the top, and then alternate the side you're twisting to, just like the ab bicycle. But the key to the sit-up is hitting the floor as gently as possible. Even though this is a fairly higher tempo set of moves today, I don't mind coming up nice and quick, get a good squeeze at the top, but hit the floor as gently as possible, particularly in that bottom 5%.
10 seconds.
Next up is going to be plank, where you go from forearms to hands, forearms to hands, forearms to hands, which I'm demonstrating now ahead of the timer. If that's too difficult or you don't like it for any reason, like it's hard on the wrists or something, just do normal plank, which I'm demonstrating now. Or, easier still, go from the knees, which I'm demonstrating now, or a combination of the two. If not, go back to the other one. Okay, at the halfway point, switch the hand you're leading with if you're doing the forearms to hands one, or you can alternate each time. Up to you. Again, higher energy ab move, keeps the calorie burn going. Next up, the leg round 2. Key is on this one, still just make sure your hips stay in a relatively good straight line with your shoulders. Okay, I don't mind if your hips go a smidge higher than your shoulders if you have a bad back. It just helps, takes a bit of pressure off the core and looks after the back a bit more. However, what I definitely don't want to see is your hips going below your shoulders. That makes the back sag and the back arch, and you might feel it in the lower back. Rest there. Next up, into the leg round. Round number 2, goblet squats. Remember your good pointers with your squat technique. Weight up nice and high, chest up tall, stick your bum out. Feet slightly wider than hip width apart. Little turn out of the toes if you're tall or taller, or got long legs for your height, like I'm doing, and then you push your knees out wide to help keep that back nice and straight. If you look at my back, I'm staying nice and upright. That's the key to the squat. Stay nice and upright, then go as deep as you can so it works the legs as much as possible. You should not feel a squat in your back at all. If you're feeling your squat in your back, it means you're doing it incorrectly. People talk about keeping the chest up tall, but if the leg position isn't right and you're taller, it's hard to not tip forward. That little turn out the toes, feet just slightly wider than hip width apart, pushing the knees out wide is what helps keep the chest up. It gets the hips out the way, allows the torso to stay more upright. I'd rather you feel it in your legs and take pauses because your legs are struggling, rather than just carrying on but feeling it in your back. Next up, the squat jacks. Good squat technique. Jack your feet in, jack your feet back out, straight into your next squat. So you'll see what I mean about the angle of my feet on this one. And pushing those knees out wide. So not like a traditional squat where you kind of keep everything in a nice straight line. If you're tall, you're going to struggle to not feel it in your back doing that technique. To make it extra hard, do it like I'm doing it. One smooth motion where you squat, jack in, jack out, straight into the next squat. If you're struggling, slow it down a bit. Turn it into 2 different moves. You tell my squat technique's good because if I had a big logo on the front of my t-shirt, you'd be able to read it the entire time. And even though we're doing the jack to kind of get the heart rate up, still maintain good squat technique. You do not want to be pitching forwards and backwards, otherwise you'll feel it in your lower back the next day.
10 seconds. Rest.
Next up, the squat thrust, show me your hands. Top of the press up position, jump your feet in, lift your hands off the mat, jump your feet back out, jump your feet back in, take the hands off the mat.
Let's go.
Here we go, just like I'm doing. Super high intense, leg-based cardio move, keeps that pressure in the legs, jacks the heart rate up. Big calorie burn on. Nothing too complicated about this one. Just make sure you're jumping a nice long way in and out. Make sure your hips don't drop below your shoulders. Or even if you notice my hips are slightly below my shoulders, but my back is in a nice straight line. I'm not letting my back sag and arch. If it does, you're going to feel it in your lower back. People have a tendency to try and do that because as their legs start to struggle, they try and let other muscle groups take over, unconsciously or consciously. But we want to make sure we consciously stop our back from taking over.
10 seconds. Rest.
Next up, the wall sit with the weight or without it. Up to you. Get that 90-degree angle at the legs. Make sure the ankles are dead underneath your knees. Make sure your feet aren't out in front of your knees and make sure your feet aren't behind your knees. Otherwise, that's going to put pressure on the knees. Weight on your lap if you can, but try and keep your hands off your thighs if you're not using a weight. So you can't push down and help out. Excellent, just hold on tight. Here we go. So just really fight that burn in the legs. Round number 2 on the wall sit. It's going to feel really tough at this stage, so just do what you can.
Halfway there.
That's it, here we go. So yeah, make sure those feet aren't slipping out. Hold on to that wall sit, good as you can. It's going to be really hard at this stage, especially going into round 3 as well. If you are new to this style of workout, you could leave it at 2 rounds or even 1 round. If not, stick with it for 3 rounds. Even if you need pauses, just stay in there for that big calorie burn.
Rest.
Right, come on off that wall into some press-ups. Good old-fashioned press-ups, either from the toes or from the knees. If you're doing them from the knees, make sure you walk your hands a long way out in front of you, and then lean forward almost onto the top, like the front of your thighs. Keep your head out in front of your hands. Nothing too much else for me to explain on this one, apart from I'm gently touching the floor with my chest, but if you notice, my back doesn't arch and sag as I push myself back up. You want your hips and chest leaving the floor at the same time. We don't want that sort of Mexican wave kind of going on, otherwise it's going to put pressure on the back.
Halfway there.
If you start feeling, if you're doing it from your toes and you start feeling that kind of Mexican wave kind of feeling where your chest is leaving the ground before your hips, drop to knees and keep moving. The most important thing about today's workout is just keeping moving, keeping the pressure on, keeping the heart rate up, rather than just how many press-ups you can do from your toes.
Rest.
Rest there. Next up, what we're going to do is we're going to hit are lat pull down with the towel. Okay, so we're simulating a chin up, but lead on your front. Arms and legs straight out in front and behind you. Lift your legs and chest into the air and your arms. Pull out on the towel slightly. Keep some good tension on the towel, like outwards. Then pull it down towards your chin. Squeeze your lats on the side of your back. Then slowly extend the towel back out. Goal is to stay in the air for the whole minute with your legs and chest and upper body. However, if you need pauses, it's absolutely fine. It's also a little bit difficult to breathe in this position, so it keeps that heart rate up and it keeps the calorie burn going. 2 power moves followed by 2 cardio moves. Remember, this is all about balance, working the muscles on the back of the body as well as the front. I see so many circuit routines where they're just doing burpees and press-ups and it's all working the front of the body, not working the back of the body, and then those people often get shoulder injuries. If your supporting muscles aren't developed and strong, you're gonna get injuries in those shoulders. Next up, the mountain climber. Top of the press-up position, high knee run. If you're feeling it in your wrists at all, you could drop to plank jacks, which is where you're on your forearms and you jump your feet in and you jump your feet sort of outwards and then back in, outwards and back in. If not, hit your mountain climber with me. Let's go, 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 go. High knee run. Get the knees nice and high and one smooth running action, okay? Sometimes I see people with their foot touches the floor at the top position. Don't really want that. It's a high knee run from the press up position, as if you were doing kind of high knees from the stood up position. You're not taking pauses at the top. Just keep running, just keep moving, just keep moving. This is a nice, simple, effective move. Attack it as hard as you want to if you want the best calorie burn possible. Last 10 seconds then, big push, fast, 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 fast feet. Let's go, go, go. Next up, the big one to finish round 2, the Burpee Skydiver, where you burpee all the way down to your front, lift your hands and legs your arms and legs into the air, back up, burpee back up. If you don't like that, you feel it putting pressure on your back, don't go lower than the press up position, okay? Don't go all the way down onto the floor. Let's go, go, go. So this one's on there as a pure calorie burn and it kind of works every single muscle we've worked so far. Get that heart rate up high as you can. Here we go. That's it. I'm just demonstrating the other option there, where we don't go lower than the press-up position. If not, stick with the one I'm doing now, if your back is okay. Yeah, and if you are doing that one where you're stopping at press-up position, jumping back up, make sure your hips don't go below your shoulders and make sure that back doesn't sag. Keep that bum up nice and high. Apart from that, just focus on the calorie burn now. How high can you get your heart rate for the rest of this minute? Let's go, let's go, let's go.
10 seconds.
Right, round number 3, back to the abs. Onto your back, opposite ankle to opposite knee. Let's slow the heart rate down a little bit with a slower, more controlled move. 1 foot on the floor, cross the leg across, opposite elbow to opposite knee. Lift the legs as you crunch across the angle. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Jump back into this as soon as you feel you can. Round number 3 of 3, you're almost there. That's it. If you can, don't forget the pause, squeeze, hold at this point. I know we're going to be jacked up, our heart rate. Breathing's going to be hard, but just do whatever you can. Everything up, everything down. Okay, so you lift your legs as you crunch across the angle. Pause, squeeze, hold, slowly back down. Again, you shouldn't be feeling it in your neck. Your chin should not be going closer and further away from the chest as you do this. Keep your neck locked in one position. Almost imagine you've got a grapefruit under your chest, under your chin. Okay, and you shouldn't be squashing on that grapefruit. Okay, just keep looking up at the ceiling. Right, switch the sides. Here we go, go, go. If that chin's going to and from your chest, you're going to start feeling it in your neck. and we don't want that. So pause, squeeze, hold, slowly back down. Pause, squeeze, hold, slowly back down.
Let's go.
That's it. So yeah, don't pull with the head. Use your abs to get your rib cage on and off the floor. Keep that chin away from the chest at all times.
Halfway there. Ten seconds. Rest.
Next up, full sit-up, alternating twist. I'm demonstrating it already, although I'm not going all the way up to the top on the demonstration. If you don't get on with sit-ups for any reason, remember you do have your ab bicycle option, which I'm going to demonstrate as soon as it says let's go. So there's your ab bicycle option if you need it. Again, if you are doing that ab bicycle option though, again, keep the chin away from the chest, head looking straight up at the ceiling, use your abs to get your rib cage on and off the floor, and then hit your bicycle. Apart from that, if not, hit your alternating sit-ups with a twist at the top. Good rotation, good squeeze at the top, hit that floor nice and gently. Start doing some slightly more high energy moves. Okay, I was going to let's start getting the heart rate back up, but I'm sure by now it's not really properly come down even after the last two moves, especially if you're attacking those rounds at maximum attack.
Ten seconds.
So let's further get that heart rate going back up. The plank where you're walking from hands to forearms, hands to forearms, hands to forearms. At the halfway mark, switch the leading hand that you step up with. If not, just hit your normal plank or do your plank from knees, or a combination of the three. You know, do the walking plank as long as you can, then drop to normal plank if it starts getting too hard. Then, if it's still too hard, you can drop to knees. Up to you. But if you are planking in any guys, you need to make sure those hips stay in a nice straight line with your shoulders. Whatever you do, don't let the hips go below the shoulders and let that back arch and sag. Otherwise, you're going to feel it in that lower back. So it's your last time through. It's last ab move. So do what you can to the end. Get that heart rate going back up. Get those abs pinching and squeezing. And remember, if you feel it in your back at all on the plank, you can have your hips a little bit higher. It takes pressure off the core, but only a smidge higher. Okay, next up, we're going to go to the legs for the final time. So we're into our kettlebell goblet squats. Remember the good squat technique. Weight up nice and high at the chest. Don't let it drop down, even if you feel it in your arms a bit. Chest up tall, hip, feet slightly wider, hip width apart. Little turn out the toes, push the knees out wide. Let's go. Nice and deep into those squats. Again, hit a nice parallel depth. Hips in line with the knees. And again, the key to hitting good depth is good technique without using the lower back. If you're tipping forwards and backwards, you're doing it incorrectly. If you're feeling it in your back at all, you're doing your squat incorrectly. It means your chest is going forwards and backwards as you go down. If that's happening, turn the toes out, feet a little wider. Push the knees out really wide, wider than you think. That helps keep the torso up nice and tall. It does put a bit more pressure on the inside of the legs, which is kind of an area a lot of people want to tone anyway. However, if you're taller or have long legs for your height, like I'm only about 6 foot, but I've got long legs for my height, so keeping my torso up nice until I have to do that option. Right, you'll see it a bit more clearly on this next one. Squat jacks, when you're ready.
Let's go.
Squat wide, jack your feet in, jack your feet back out, straight into your next squat. So if you look at my squat technique with my knees, that's the angle that helps keep my torso upright. So you could see a logo that was on my t-shirt the entire time. I'm not tipping forward. I see so many people doing squats wrong, even people who have relatively advanced and been training for years. So remember the good squat technique as we do this move, but the primary function of this move is to work the legs but get the heart rate up. Let's go, let's go, let's go. For the last time.
Ten seconds. Rest.
Cardio move number 2. Time for the squat thrust. Show me your hands. So top of the press up position. Keep those hips in a nice straight line with your shoulders. Don't let that back sag. Jump your feet in towards your hands. Jump your feet back out. In and out. That's your squat thrust, but show me your hands at the top position. When your feet are near your hands, roll back, put the pressure into the legs. Show me your hands. That's it. Even though my hips are below my shoulders, I'm not letting my lower back sag. Keeping my core engaged. Here we go. And how many times can you show me your hands in the time? 1 minute on the clock. Last round. Last time you do these exercises. How many times can you show me your hands? If you're doing this workout for the second time, track the amount of times you're getting your hands in the air. Can you beat yourself each round or match yourself as we go through the rounds? Okay then, wall sit for the last time. Just remember your pointers. Sit low on the wall, 90-degree angle. Make sure your ankles are directly below your knees. You don't want your feet behind your knees and you don't want your feet out in front of the knees. Weight on the lap if you want to make it tougher, or weight either in each hand. Really try and make sure you've got a 90-degree angle. Used to see someone doing wall sits and he used to hold 240-kilo dumbbells in each hand, but he was a mile up the wall. He was at about a 30-degree angle. We want a 90-degree angle, and it becomes much tougher. And it'd be tough anyway after all those previous 3 moves. Do what you can. Here we go. Just survival mode. Big survival mode. Hang in there, hang in there, hang in there. And just let those legs fry. Last leg move. Can you survive? Or track your progress. If you come back to do this workout again, can you last longer and longer? Slowly build up till you can last all 3 rounds. Just 4 moves to go after that. All upper body. Rest there. So we're back to the press ups. Either from toes or from knees. Just make sure the hips don't go below the shoulders and make sure that back does not sag. If you're going from the knees, walk your hands a nice long way out and keep your head out in front of your hands. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Halfway there.
So last time on these press ups, yeah, remember I'm going from these, I'm just nursing a shoulder injury at the moment. However, up to you, do what you can. Last from the toes as long as you can, then drop to knees, etc. Right, next up, towel lat pull down. 2 power moves followed by 2 cardio moves. Slightly uncomfortable position, keeps the heart rate up, keeps the calorie burn going. Chest and legs in the air, pull that towel down, squeeze those lats, then send that towel back out. Try and stay in the air for the whole minute if you can. If not, take the pause if you need to, and then jump back in when you can. But push yourself as hard as you can. Don't worry about anyone else. This is all about you versus you. Just hang in there.
Halfway there. Ten seconds. Rest.
Right, super simple mountain climbers coming up next. Simple but effective high knee run, big calorie burn. Remember, if you are feeling it in your wrists, you can do your plank jack instead. Where you just do a normal plank, jump your feet out and in. This time though, we're doing mountain climbers, high knee run, pump those legs, heart rate up, high as you can, run, run, run. Let's go, let's go. Second last move, second last chance to burn some calories. Get that heart rate up as high as you can. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Fast as you can. Pump those knees, pump those knees, pump those knees. Try and not stop moving if you can. However, I realise this is a very difficult set of moves. Just do what you can to the end.
Ten seconds. Rest.
Rest there. Right, final big move to the end. The Burpee Skydiver. So you burpee down all the way onto your front, lift your chest and legs into the air, then burpee all the way back up. If you're feeling it in the back, stop at the top of press up position. You know what to do now. It's the third and final round. Just do what you can to the end now, okay? Big calorie burn on. Let's see if you can take me on. Try and beat me, my number of reps. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Final push. If not, that's your option there. Don't have to go below the press up position. If you're doing that one though, just make sure that back doesn't arch and sag. Apart from that, big calorie burn on, working the arms and the legs. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Seconds.
Last few seconds. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Rest there. Time for some stretching. Collapse onto the floor. Have a drink if you want it. I'm going to go into a bit of a pencil stretch for 30 seconds. Then we have a nice long lower back stretch. So pencil stretch is just arms and legs together. Pull yourself as long and as thin as you can. Suck in the tummy, just stretch the abs a little bit. Just let that heart rate come back down. I'm going to hold it for 30 seconds, then we're going to do a big, long 1 minute lower back stretch per side, again, just to try and get that heart rate back down before we then just hit a few stretches of some of the muscle groups we hit today. If you enjoyed that, I hope you liked it. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, like the video, little thumbs up icon at the bottom. Share it to your Facebook, spread the word. Anything you do would be hugely appreciated. Or leave a comment underneath as well, that helps the channel a lot. Next up, lower back stretch, knees to one side as if you're in fetal position. Knees up nice and high, hold those knees down and then relax your opposite shoulder back. Doing the back stretch, what I'm doing at the moment. Good 1 minute long stretch per side. But apart from that, I hope you like this kind of format that I'm going to start bringing. I'm going to try and, whilst I'm getting started, I'm going to try and sort of get this going once a fortnight. I'm going to get a new set of 5 videos once a fortnight. Monday is Bootcamp HIIT style session like the one you've just done. Tuesday is going to be leg day. So it'll be a 30-minute leg day.
Halfway there.
Sort of legs and glutes. Wednesday is going to be a step and sweat. It's just a case of a low impact cardio, big sweat, and the goal is just to sweat and burn some calories. 30 minutes again. Then Thursday is going to be upper body, 30 minutes again. Nice, simple but effective combos you can do at home with minimal equipment, or if any, in some cases. Then Friday will be a big core and stretch day. Slowly out of that back stretch, over to the other side. So fetal position. Hold the knees down with the nearest hand. Relax the opposite shoulder back in the position I'm in. Again, I'm going to do a full minute on this one as well. Again, just helping get that heart rate down, slowing that heart rate down, helping you recover before we hit the final few stretches. But yeah, so that's the new format. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you like it. Hopefully sort of my videos, the way I put them together now is a little bit slicker and a bit more gets to the point, a bit less talking. And apart from that, yeah, just support the channel however you can. Apart from that, let's just stretch to the end. And it's great to see you. And hopefully see you again for some more videos.
Halfway there.
So this is one of the best lower back stretches in the game.
10 seconds.
Big stretch of the QLs. The twisting muscles of the back is one of the best ones to do. Good minute per side. So we really get into those muscles. Right, next up, quad stretch. So you're just lying on your side. The leg that's up in the air. Heel to bum, push the hip forward, pull the knee back. Big stretch down the front of the leg. We're just going to do 30 seconds of stretch now. And again, I like to stick with sort of similar-ish stretches just because the stretches I pick are stretching more than one structure, so we can hold it for longer. But yeah, sorry about the background noise a little bit. It was raining quite hard on the day I filmed all of these videos, so hopefully it hasn't been too annoying in this episode. Also, there's a very good squeaky floor during the warm-up.
There.
Switch the sides, quad stretch. But I guess it adds to the comedic value during the warm-up.
Ten seconds.
Just a few more stretches left. Onto your bum, cross your legs as if you're sat back at school on the floor. Walk your hands out in front of you. This is stretching the glutes that we work quite hard during the leg session, the leg portion of this HIIT workout, as well as the straight up and down muscles of the lower back.
Let's go.
At halfway, we switch the legs round and do the same stretch. Switch the legs round, 30-second stretch the other side. Walk your hands out. Big stretch of the hips, glutes, lower back. This is a good test of mobility, this one. The more mobile your hips are, the less problems you're likely to have with your lower back and hips. But yeah, the purpose of this new set of this new workout set that I want to do is just to provide a bit more for my clients at the Lakeside Fitness Studio. So there are some options when I do go away. Right, next up, what we're going to do is we're just going into a bit of child's pose. So feet together, knees apart, sit back onto your ankles, arms straight above the head, stretching the lats. Then we do a chest stretch and then we're going to be done. But yeah, so it's just to provide a few extra workouts for my clients. And yeah, it just gives you the opportunity to kind of add to whatever you're doing here. And then if it helps anyone else in the wider world, then great. So just stretching under the lats with a child's pose stretch. You can elevate your hands up onto something. It sort of increases the stretch through the lats if you want to. Then we're going to just do a chest stretch and you're done, you're out of here. The day's yours.
Halfway there.
So I'm just going to go hands to the base of the spine, lift my chest, drop your elbows back and down. Big stretch to the chest. Try not to push the hips too far forward, more just trying to get the elbows to touch to stretch the chest. Not that you'll probably be able to get the elbows to touch. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, comment, share to your Facebook or whatever. Spread the word as good as you can. Support the channel would be amazing. I'd hugely appreciate it.
Rest.
And yeah, look forward to seeing you next time. The day's yours.